G'day, I'm Nissa from Wild Earth Travel, and today we will be uncovering Tasmania, Australia's most southern state, which happens to be a hidden gem for small ship and expedition cruising. Although having said that, Tassie, as it is affectionately known, hasn't always been seen this way, and in the past may have had a bit of a bad reputation for being a bit of an Aussie backwater. But the tide has definitely turned, and this same isolation, ruggedness and sordid history, which may have once turned travellers away, is the very thing that is drawing them to this special part of the world. This charming isle, which sits in the Southern Ocean but is closely flanked by the Indian and Pacific Oceans, is a paradise for nature lovers and adventure enthusiasts. It is renowned for its rugged coastlines, pristine beaches and lush rainforests. It offers a diverse range of experiences, from hiking the majestic Cradle Mountain to exploring the rich history of Hobart and Port Arthur. Tasmania's wildlife is equally unique and home to species like the Tasmanian devil and an array of wildlife. The island also boasts a thriving food and wine scene, featuring fresh seafood, artisanal cheeses and cool climate wines. To paint the picture, here's a clip from one of our local suppliers' coral expeditions. While I haven't done a full circumnavigation of Tasmania, I've done a fair chunk, and what I can say of my experience was that it was full of world-class highlights, including these few of my favourites. Step out onto Tasmania's northeast coast and step into pristine beaches with crystal clear waters and charming seaside towns such as Bashino's. And I must admit, when I was there, with water that clear, it's hard to resist not taking a dip, even if the water temperature is slightly on the chilly side, which I must say, even in the middle of summer, it's not that comfortable. You'll see people out there in wetsuits, but the brave will be donning their bathers for sure. Other highlights of the northeast coast included the aptly named Bay of Fires, again with white stunning sanded beaches and clear blue waters. They have distinctive orange lichen covered rocks which give the bay its name. And of course there is Freycinet National Park with its pink granite peaks and secluded bays, and the iconic Wineglass Bay, which you will probably see in all the tourism pictures, and offers world-class hiking and stunning views. Hobart. So if you're here for a cruise and you've got a couple of extra days, make sure you explore Tasmania's capital city, which blends historic charm with a vibrant art scene and is set against the backdrop of the beautiful Mount Wellington. The waterfront is lively with markets and galleries and restaurants serving local fresh produce. And as a former penal colony, Tasmania is rife with convict history, and you can uncover much of it here in Hobart. I visited the former women's prison, which was fascinating, with the stories of these people who literally had nothing and many of which who died in terrible conditions, but many of which who went on to build the city as we know it today. So if you're looking for some light reading on the topic, take a read of Bryce Courtney's Potato Factory to give you an idea of life in Hobart during that colonial time. Port Arthur is another place that you can soak up the history of Tasmania. It is a World UNESCO site and is one of Australia's most significant convict era landmarks. It was once a penal colony and now offers visitors a glimpse into its dramatic history through preserved ruins and restored buildings and interactive exhibit. It's definitely an eerie place that will tug on your heartstrings when you hear the stories, not only of the people who were enforced to visit there, but also the modern day sad tale of the 96 massacre as well. So history buffs, I would recommend taking a visit to Port Arthur. And by contrast, back in Hobart Town, the Museum of Old and New Art, or MONA as it is known, is a cutting-edge gallery known for its provocative and eclectic collection. People just travel to Tasmania to visit this place, and it is definitely worth the visit. They've always got strange and interesting and wonderful exhibits on the go, and if you've got the time, stay for lunch because the restaurant is great, and if you've got the time even more, you can stay in one of the boutique accommodations which is on site as well. So when it comes to our Tasmanian offering, you have various options depending on your interests and cruising style preferences. So on the boutique side of things, there is Onboard, a family-run business that has been running cruises and charters in Tasmania since 1998. And with 6 or 12 passenger options, Onboard is perfect for small groups or meeting and mingling with like-minded travellers. There are both East and West Coast options, but here's Alice to show you a little bit more about the destinations and experience.
Onboard runs expedition cruises to Tasmania's remotest corners. The skipper on most of our trips is actually my father, Pete Vanderwood, who's here. We've been working together for eight or so years, and we're still talking to each other. We're still talking to each other. He does most of the driving, and if I'm honest, I don't know what any of these controls do. Onboard offers an all-inclusive experience on its multi-day expedition. So this includes the scenic wilderness flights on board our new seaplane. Our trips also include accommodation on board, all your activities every day, which are with expert guides that take the guests out exploring and help them to understand the landscapes and the stories of the people who were once here a little bit deeper. Welcome to the lounge bar and helm area. This is one of my favourite rooms on the vessel. We encourage our guests to take a seat right here and have a chat with the skipper who's sitting in the helm. Of an evening or perhaps over lunch, this is where our onboard chef cooks up meals of beautiful Tasmanian fare. Our menu's always changing depending on what's seasonal and what's available, and our chef prepares all the meals. Lots of fresh seafood like oysters and crayfish and local beef. And we've deliberately picked wines from small family-owned vineyards that our guests might not otherwise get to taste or enjoy. Every room has an ensuite and a queen bed that you can walk around, plenty of storage, and also, this is my favourite feature, these amazing picture windows where you can lie in bed and take the view in every morning, and it's always changing. Even in the room we're in, we've got these beautiful big windows inviting the wilderness in, so you can see what's happening outside while still being warm and cosy inside.
Another of our favourite operators in Tasmania is Coral Expeditions. You can see from this image here that the ship is a little bit bigger than on board, but the experience is just as up close and personal. So with the Coral Discoverer, there are 72 passengers, a wraparound deck, lots of open space and areas to mingle as well. The ship itself has a shallow draft access, so you can still get in nice and close. There are 2 explorer tenders as well, so for comfort and ease, these as you can see on the back of the vessel there, they just come down, so you don't have to kind of go in and out of zodiacs, but there are also zodiacs as well. So depending on your level of mobility and what you choose to do for your onboard activities, there is quite a bit of choice with Coral, and the choice extends to the itineraries as well. So they do have some themed cruises. There is, for hiking enthusiasts, there's a hiking themed cruise that goes into the wilderness. There's ones that have a bit of more emphasis on the wildlife, and there is another that has emphasis on a bit of a culinary journey. And of course there is the 16-day circumnavigation option as well, if you just want to do all of Tassie. So there you go, bit of an overview of Tasmania and a couple of our favourite operators and options available, but this is by no means an extensive list. So if you do have any questions, please reach out to the team, and if we can't answer your question on the spot, we'll find the answer for you. Thank you again for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.